Prithviraj Sukumaran's new film is coming out, I Nobody, and he gave an interview to Anupama Chopra where he talked about Malayalam cinema and his upcoming horror film, Odian, which will be produced by Dharma Productions, made by Rahul Sadasivan, who made Bhutakala and Brahmayugam. He also dropped an iconic line which has gone viral, and lots more. If you haven't seen the original, I'll put the link in the description, check it out there. It's a reaction to it, a substitute. And without any delay, let's hear him out.
How do you decide this is a film like Odeon, which also you're co-producing, that this is a film I will co-produce and this is a film I will only act in? What are the considerations for that?
Given a choice, I would like to co-produce every film that I'm part of.
Really?
And I'll tell you why. Because it
Even BMCM?
just makes a lot more financial sense for the project.
Okay.
I've had
That's
this conversation openly with producers where I've told them, listen, okay, this is how we are going to mount the film. And the single biggest investment for you is going to be, as is in any industry for any film, is going to be the lead actor's remuneration. Now, I'm prepared to come in as a stakeholder. Let's take that off the table. Yeah, let's take that off the table so that the film becomes smaller. Then you have a lot more breathing space to make the film well.
Yeah.
And if the
You
film,
put the money into the movie.
yeah, and if the film
And only if 5% of actors would do that in other industries, things would be so different.
works, all of us make money. If the film does not work, I am prepared to walk away thinking I didn't get paid for the film. And a lot of producers in Malayalam will tell you, yeah, I mean, that's what he usually does. But then there are producers who say, no, we would like you to come in just as an actor and work for a salary. And I'm sure I'll always keep that option open. But I just think, especially for an industry like Malayalam, it makes a lot more sense that the lead actor is a stakeholder. And to be frank, I think that is the way cinema should be. I think
that also, as you said, that the way cinema should be. And that also tells you that, you're willing to put in your money, you're willing to, sacrifice that because you have so much trust in what you're making. If it's just for the sake of money, you're just doing this film, you'll get money, you'll earn, and you'll just walk away, and you don't care what happens to it, then you don't have any stakes. You're not invested. That means the film is not good enough, the story is not good enough to be worthy enough to tell and put in your hard work and put all your mind and soul into it. So that's a really good litmus test at the start, that what you're actually doing, it's that good that I want to put in. I don't care about the salary. If the film works out, great, and I'll make that money out of it. That should be forget actors. Nowadays producers are also not caring about that. They know that's the project system, right? They'll create a project and OTT rights are music rights, and done. I've made my money. Who cares whatever the film is? That's the attitude which has become.
Especially when you're getting paid such money, and we are getting paid well. When you're getting paid that kind of money, I think it's always better, especially in an industry like Malayalam, where I know how things work and I feel like setting up a project and its ancillaries are in my control. It makes a lot more sense for the person investing the money for the film while it's being set up, that the main lead actor or the lead technicians, etc., come in as stakeholders. Yeah.
It is time now, Prithvi, to update our IMDb watch list
Okay.
with your favorite films. What are 5 films that you rate 10 on 10?
Let me try.
All right, let's judge him.
Make a list of a film from each of the 5 major Indian industries. Okay, so from Hindi,
interesting.
Diwar. 10 out of 10. Quintessential Indian cinema. Everyone at the absolute peak of their powers. Such a big fan of that film, and I'm the biggest Amitabh Bachchan fan. Telugu, Bahubali 1. For the brilliant piece of cinema that it is, but for also what it did to a world of dreamers, including me. Yeah, Bahubali 1 is an absolute
I would honestly pick 2. I think 2 is way superior movie than 1. But yeah, like 2 is incomplete without 1. So it's like a combo deal for me. But okay, 1.
Mark in Indian cinema. Kannada, Om.
I've not seen it.
Brilliantly
I've heard a lot about
by
it.
Upendra sir, starring, of course, the one and only Rajkumar sir. One of my all-time favorite films, actually, And Tamil, Tevar Magan, the absolute genius of Kamal Hassan, the writer and actor.
Have I seen this? I don't think I've seen it.
Artistic genius of Bharathan, the director, P.C. Sriram sir, Shivaji Ganeshan sir, some of India's best actors, just throwing their weight into the ring, and my God, I can still watch that film today, and it's just it'll still seem like better than most films happening today to me. Tevar Magan is an all-time favorite of mine.
That's a
and
statement.
From Malayalam, since I've picked so many, I'll maybe pick one today that I might have missed mentioning in the past. It's a film called Bhuta Kannadi.
I've seen it.
Directed by
I've seen it.
Lohitadas sir. I think it is Lohitadas'
Have I
first
seen it?
debut directorial. And it has one of the all-time best performances
No,
by
I've
a
not seen
male
it.
lead actor in Indian cinema. You should watch Mr. Mammootty in it. It is a textbook.
Really?
Please watch it. Please watch it today if you can. It is an incredible film that deep dives philosophically into a man's mind.
I'm confusing it with Thanya Vartanam. I've seen Thanya Vartanam.
And my God, the performance is just incredible.
What a great list. That's amazing.
It is actually. I think 10 on 10 on his list.
But coming back to our questions, Prithviraj Productions is, of course, you and Supriya, your
Yes.
wife, right? And
Yes.
I remember her saying in an interview that the division of labor is quite clear. You're creative, she's finances and execution and all what we would say the sort of hardcore boring work, right?
The tough work.
The tough work.
Yeah.
It is really tough.
Yeah,
It is-
the fun part is what I do.
is what you do. But if there's a time when, as an artist, you say, I want more money for this, and she says no, how do you resolve that?
We've had those
Interesting.
arguments.
And
Even for nobody, we've had those arguments. Well, most times I get my way, but but yeah, I mean, it's just that,
That's
like, say for example, even people who work with Prithviraj Productions, I think they have figured out this equation. So let's say, I'm just quoting an example here, right? So Nissam wants a particular piece of equipment for like one shot, okay? And for that equipment to come from Bombay and go back is going to cost us about 40 lakhs. And we are thinking, for one shot, 40 lakhs. And then the person Nissam will come and talk to is me, because I'm a filmmaker, I'm an actor. So he'll say, what I had in mind is that when the camera comes around, you see Rajeevan looking at Meera. And then in the same shot when the camera goes around, we transition to 10 years ago when they were, just a newlywed couple. So this is what... And then I understand that the only way to do this is to bring that equipment. So obviously then I say, oh man, and in my mind I'm thinking, oh, that's actually a brilliant way to look at it. We need to get it. So then suddenly...
I don't know if he's saying he just said a number, 40 lakhs or not, but 40 lakhs is quite like, most films are like 5, 6, crores. Now I think the budget has gone up, like 10 crores is 5, 6, 8, 10 crores has become a norm, for films. But I think if he's saying 40 lakhs on just a one equipment, that means the budget is quite 15, 20 almost for this movie.
Nissam, or whoever the director is, very brilliantly has made this a direction versus production issue into a production versus production issue, because now it's myself and Supriya arguing. Yeah. And yeah, I think it is very good that I sometimes only think with my heart and she always thinks with her head.
Good combo.
Because if one of us had sort of tilted in favor of the other, I think we might have lost the balance in it. But I should also say the same thing about my partners, E4 Experiments, Mr. Saradi and Mr. Mukesh R. Mehta. They also have the same issue because they're producers, they need to be thinking only in terms of how much money are we spending and what are we recovering. But they sometimes will come and tell me, I think we should just let Nissam do that. It's absolute joy to have that for me. And then it'll be like, then Supriya gets outnumbered and, we get our way. But yeah, that's how it works. And I think that's how it should be in every good functioning production house. I work very closely with Dharma. I'm not naming names here, but I know in Dharma who is the creative head and who is the financial head. And I know who am I having my fights with and who am I complaining to. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, so...
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That's so funny. The other thing she said was that from the time the two of you started dating, which I think she said was 2007 or something,
Yeah, thereabouts,
right?
yeah.
Almost 20 years ago. You have talked about taking Malayalam cinema to a global audience.
Yeah.
That's 20 years ago,
Which
right? This is pre-Bahubali.
I think this is, in my honest opinion, is what lacking in Tamil cinema. I was just wondering that day, like, who's in Tamil cinema trying to push boundaries? Like, who's trying to, take Tamil cinema not just in Tamil Nadu, but let's go outside, let's go global. Not in terms of pan India, but even to get, the shows in, different part of the countries. Like, we are not just a Tamil movie. I'm making a Tamil movie for the world or for the country, not just Tamil Nadu. And I think I don't see any names. Even the bigger stars, like I would say Shiva Karthikeyan is someone who's pushing the boundaries in the roles he's doing, the kind of films he's doing and partnering with. That's something that stands out. But I don't see anyone like, even in Telugu, of course, Rajamouli, and then Rana Dugavati does so much. The Gupati does so much, into getting things done and big, like he's thinking big. He's going abroad, he's planning things for what can be done more. Malayalam, of course, Prithviraj is someone who's pushing it. In Bollywood also, I would say Shah Rukh Khan. He brought the way he brought visual effects. Red Chilli is still one of the finest in the country. So he has been pushing in that, way of, setting up a VFX house in Mumbai and doing all of those stuff. So there have been people in every industry, but even I would say Kannada, I would say Yash has done that. Rakshit Shetty, Rishabh Shetty, like their names were trying to push it. But I think Kannada, they are not getting backed by anyone else. They're just three of them trying to do everything. And in Tamil, I just cannot come up with any name. Kamal Hassan is he used to do that, and he did that, and at his own level he has done that. But he did makeup in a Hollywood film, so he has, as a personality, he has done so much. But when you think about today, are they doing that? Are they trying to crack deals and do promotions across the country when a film comes out? Like, they do pan India film, but they just flop and then it's over. The dream is over. That's kind of the way it looks like right now. So, like, of course, Mani Ratnam and Shankar, they have done the films, have gone out, but I'm saying, see, those were like abnormalities or exceptions, happened. It was not, they were trying to push it and it happened. It's not a process, it just happened. And then none of it happened again. And then after some time, one thing will happen again, and then nothing happened again. So, it's not a process, it's not someone trying to push and champion for it. It's like, oh, it happens, it doesn't happen, who cares? That's the mindset I get. Maybe I'm wrong, let me know in the comments.
It's pretty all of it, and you're saying, no, this needs to go to the world.
Yeah.
Why has this been such a sort of overarching ambition, and where do you think you are in this journey right now?
The why, I don't know, because I just think that from the time I realized that this is what I'm going to do with my life, I've sort of believed that okay, there is one part of it where I take what I can from this, but the bigger part of it is, what do I give to this when I walk away, when I die, when I walk away? How different is the post Prithviraj cinema than it was before him? And it might not be a giant leap or a big change, but it was like that small shift in perspective, that small shift in how people look at it. And if I played a little small part in that would be like a great achievement for me. And I'm a believer this should be the same for anybody in any field of work. Anyone doing whatever they like to do with their life, I think the best way to look at it is, what difference am I bringing, to the bigger picture as far as my work sphere is concerned. So that's always been the way I thought. Where am I in that journey? I don't know. I only know that I'm nowhere close to the finish line. And when I say I, me, etc., I'm truly aware that I'm part of a team. I'm part of a larger, a big group of people who genuinely think the same way that I do. We are all really proud of the films that we make, and we go wrong, we get it right, we make mistakes, we make bad films, we make great films. But I just hope that the sense of adventure that Malayalam cinema has, that we never lose it. And I just hope this, that this whole thing of the current new generation filmmakers holding the nativity and the flavor of our cinema in such high regard, I hope that continues to be the way it is. Having said that, we should also be open to adapting, to changing, to learning. I'm not a believer that Malayalam is the only industry that makes good films in India. I just know, and I.
It's not. Of course, he's right. Like, not every film is Malayalam is great, and not every film outside Malayalam cinema is crap. I think this year, one of my favorite films is a Marathi film. That video is coming soon. My top 10 picks till now, halfway through the year. So it's actually a Marathi film topping that. So let's see. I still have to make the whole list, but not many Malayalam films are in that. So I would say that's where things are right now.
And I take pride in the fact that we have a young film-going audience in the state right now who gives us a lot of courage and inspiration to step out and try different things. that I'm truly thankful for.
Yeah.
And I hope that never changes. Yeah.
You know, I recently saw Mollywood Times, which I enjoyed a lot. And there's this scene in which this filmmaker who wins an award tells the other filmmaker, Naslan's character, that mediocrity is the new greatness. And it's true. You know, it is true. And like you said, it's not... Even Malayalam cinema doesn't make only great films, right? There is enough mediocrity everywhere. Yeah. How do you keep mediocrity at bay? Like, what do you do to make sure that at least the attempt is to be, you know, better than that?
You know, the one thing about mediocrity, if not for anything else, is that it is the least of the self-aware faculties.
Yes.
Mediocrity and mediocre people are truly never aware that they are that. I might be mediocre right now, but I might not be aware of it. So I don't know. That's the honest answer. Which is why people...
Very well said. I think it's mostly outside people thinking. Like, no one... I don't think... And I think if they are like... They've attained a different level of consciousness if they know that they are mediocre and they're like, who cares? You know, that's I think a peace, some level of peace you would have knowing that, like, because you strive not for perfection, but you strive to do something better every day, right? That's the motto we have been taught, or we learn, you know, growing up, that you have to become better every day. You have to, you know, do something better with your life and everything. And if someone is happy, like, you know, I'm mediocre, who cares? And I'm just happy. I think they are the most peaceful people out there.
Fall into mediocrity because they don't realize that
it's happening.
It's happening. I trust the audience that I make my cinema for to let me know when I slip into mediocrity. And as far as Malayalam cinema goes, it happens a fair number of times. Yeah, there are many times that we get away with it. I know I've gotten away with it as an actor, as a director, as a producer. But it's also an industry where there are very high chances that you will get that rap on the back saying, nope, no. So I trust my audience to remind me that I'm falling into mediocrity. Now, having said that, if you start thinking of deliberately chasing excellence, that's also a trap. You know, you can't decide to make a film, pick up a story, and then start thinking of, okay, let me think of a really never before way of telling this story. Let me be truly original. I just think the best films
I think he's coming to Mollywood Times also. That's the kind of thought that character has in that film, right? Like, he wants to be the perfect. He wants to put out the best horror film ever. Like, you know, that's not how you have to... It's a good way to motivate yourself, to push yourself, but that's not the way to go about art, right? Like, you want to create something organic. If you force fit it to be the best, then you are not being authentic to the story you are telling. You know, I think that also the extremity of doing something never done before, something perfect, you know, not be mediocre, you know, don't fight too much it, you know, you have to just follow the organic path which you take that story onto.
You surrender to the written material, you know, and the best materials are written when you let the thought lead you, you know.
It's organic.
Yeah, rather than you sitting there and thinking, I need to make a better film than that, or I need to, okay, this film, now Rahul Sadashivan's film is a horror film. If Rahul and I sit down and we start thinking, our aim is to make the best horror film.
That's the line from the movie.
Go wrong, you know. Rahul has a story that he wants to narrate, and Rahul knows how he wants to say that story. Now, for us, the only job we can do is to make sure that organically we let Rahul attain his vision the best way possible. Either way you push that film, this way or that way, I think we'll go wrong. So that's the only thing we can hold on to. We really can't be sitting here and making a flow chart on how to avoid mediocrity. I don't think there is an equation.
How to achieve greatness.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think there is an equation that lets us figure that out. Yeah.
You know, you've always said, Prithvi, that Malayalam cinema is what I do.
Yeah.
And everything else, which is Hindi, Telugu, etc., is once in a while.
Correct.
Okay.
Is that still the case?
Absolutely. I'm very much a Malayalam actor. Malayalam cinema is home for me.
What was his last movie? I don't even remember. What is his last release?
But I enjoy, you know, going out and experimenting with other cinema as well. And I'm privileged for the fact that, you know, if somebody today wanted to say, oh, who are the two big pan-Indian directors you would like to work with? They'd probably say S.S. Rajamouli and Prashant Neel. I worked with both of them, So I'm really lucky that way.
That's true.
Growing up, is there one dream filmmaker you would like to work with? Everyone, 9 out of 10 people from my state would have said, other than Kerala, other than Malayalam directors, 9 out of 10 in my home state would have said Mani Ratnam.
Yeah.
I worked with him, and
Ravan.
over the past few years, I'm not saying this because there's a film coming up, but there's the one filmmaker who I've really been following in terms of the craft and the stories she chooses to say and the way she
Meghna
says
Gulzar.
is Meghna Gulzar.
Yeah.
And I've finished working with her, and just such a great experience. I had so much fun working with Meghna. I don't think I've argued so much with any filmmaker. But yeah, but
What were you arguing about?
this is for us to talk about when that film releases. But it's an incredible filmmaker.
Nice. Yeah, he knows marketing. He knows. He's like, now I'll not reveal. Next interview, I'll do that.
A lovely person and a great filmmaker. And I'm so thankful that she thought I should do that film, and I'm so thankful that I convinced myself to find time in between my schedules and do that film, because it was such a great experience for me. And she's done a fab job. It's a film that asks you a lot of disturbing questions, but it does not answer them for you.
Nice.
It's a film that needs to have a very, very objective take on justice and the deliverance of justice in our system. And it is incredible how Meghna, from point A to B, she's never veered into one side of that line. It's tough for a filmmaker to do that, especially with that written material. It's very easy for a filmmaker to sort of veer into one side of the line, and then the film stops becoming objective. But Daira never does, right till the last.
The name itself says it.
Moment of the film,
Daira.
It'll just keep asking you the question, but will not answer it for you. It's that kind of a film, and I really had a ball doing it.
He said a lot of things about the
before
movie.
I let you go, we have to get updates on the other projects as well, right?
All right.
So is there going to be the next, installment of Empuran? Are you and Murli Gopi writing?
No, in the sense, both of us know what that story is, and it is the confidence of knowing where that is headed that made the form that Empuran is in right now. Because like Murli always says, that's a mid-piece of this big story. When we did part 1, we really didn't know if we will ever get to do a part 2, But when we were doing part 2, we were fairly confident that we will do part 3.
The film did well, right? Like, it did make the money, but not the level they would have wanted. But it did okayish, I guess.
So you've seen the beginning, you've seen the mid-piece. I would love for the story to be told in its entirety. The biggest challenge right now is the time, getting Mr. Mohanlal's time and that aligning with me finding my own time. Murli is also a very, very popular actor. So he needs to now take time. And I don't know if you know this about Murli. He has this thing that when he starts thinking about writing a script, not writing, when he starts thinking about writing a script, he has to stop acting.
Really?
If you ever interview him, ask him. So for him, I understand it's tough, because then for many months, he's just at home. His actual writing is about 3 days, 4 days. He'll finish the script. But for months on end, he'll just be there stewing, thinking. And during that time, he said no to my own films. When I've offered him films during that time, he's told me, no, I'm thinking I can't come and act in the film
that's
now.
Interesting.
So all that aligning together is the biggest challenge. Yeah.
But you have to do it.
I would love to. I mean,
we need to know.
I would love for people to see. Yeah.
Okay, what can you tell us about Khalifa Part 1?
Just wrapped last night in Dubai, actually.
Wow.
I listened to that story in 2022. And it is inspired from a real life person. And I have met that person in 2017. And in 2017, when I heard his story, I felt like, my God, this is... And incidentally, I met that person with the writer of this film in another context, when somewhere else. And I didn't know who this was, and I got introduced, and after speaking to him for a while, I realized, my God, he's got this story behind him. And it is just one of those films where, it's that...
It looks like a very, action-packed, slick film. So it's interesting what they're talking about.
Commercial template. And when I say this, it's so tough to write something like that. It's so tough to design. One of the hardest genres in cinema to get absolutely right is that commercial mass masala films. People look at it as the easier cinema to make. To me, it's the toughest kind of films to make, because you're making the film to elicit a reaction. A scene is being written, constructed to a point where you want the people to clap at this point.
Correct. You're pushing buttons.
Exactly. And it requires incredible skill, which is why I hold filmmakers like Manmohan Desai and I.V. Shashi and all in such high regard, because my God, they knew that grammar. They knew how and where to punctuate a scene. And it's very tough to get that right. Khalifa to me is a script that really, really comes close to that, that point where everything is in place. And it's a big film. We have managed to really shoot it the way we want it. And back in 2022, when we first heard the story, when Jinu first told me the story, that time we didn't even know who's going to direct it. Even the first narration itself, we knew, okay, there is a grandfather's character. There is this, I am playing Amir Ali. There is a Mambarakal Ahmad Ali. And there is a story there. And back then we thought, okay, if this film is doing well, we'll talk about a sequel/prequel where we talk of the grandfather.
Okay.
In 2025 October, we went to London and we shot the first schedule of Khalifa. We shot for over 12 days in London. And
25, okay.
What we achieved there gave all of us such confidence that we decided, okay, now this Mambarakal Ahmad Ali, the grandfather, no longer needs to be just up in the air. We're going to put it out there in concrete fashion.
All right.
And we started discussing who is going to be Ahmad Ali. So all of us wanted Mohanlal sir to play it. So I called him and I said, okay, you've played my dad. How about playing my granddad? So, I mean, he's, like a sweetheart. So he's like, of course, Pinandamane. So he didn't. And yeah, so...
I didn't know that. That's a big reveal, or was it already out?
There's a next part to this film.
Nice.
Of the story of the grandfather in the 70s and all that. And Mohanlal sir is playing that. So yeah, it's a very exciting film for me.
Okay.
Lovely. Yeah. And I can't let you go without asking you. Odion is, of course, Dharma's debut in Malayalam cinema as a producer.
Deal.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So Rahul pitched this film to me, and I told Rahul I'll do it if I'm producing it. And then Rahul said, I would love for this film to be produced by Prithviraj Productions. There is this one small thing that I have a commitment with Dharma.
Oh.
And I'm like,
okay.
If it was anyone else, I might have bullied Rahul into giving the film just to me. But I share such a great relationship with Karan. I said, okay, just because it is Dharma, go to Dharma, pitch the project. If there is any problem, anything at all, we do it. And I said, absolutely done. Then 2 days later, I get a call from Karan saying, what do you mean anything at all? We are doing it or not. So that's how it got. And I'm actually, jokes apart, I'm so glad that Dharma is part of that film. And I
cannot imagine, this movie starting, Prithviraj Productions, and horror vibe and everything, and I would love that if they play with that, make it part of the narrative, and it becomes from our romantic to very horror-y feel kind of thing. I would love if they do like that. That touch would be amazing if like Dharma also allows it and all of that.
You used to jokingly tell Karan for the longest time that I'm going to take you to Malayalam cinema. I'm going to take you to and I'm not saying that they would not have come to Malayalam cinema if not for Odion, but I'm so happy, I'm privileged that is going to happen through a film of mine, because I've worked with Dharma as a co-producer and as an actor, and I really like how they look at cinema and how they look at actors. Yeah, as I also run a production house, as producers, we get things wrong, we get things right, but there is a way we look at cinema and the way what we want to do with cinema, what we want to do with talent, the way we look at talent and how we want to nurture cinema. I found that to be genuinely something that I appreciate with Karan and the team there, and I'm glad, I'm privileged to be the one. Sort of.
I'm sorry. There are small particles in my room. I don't know if it's flies or it's just dust. Where is it coming from? I have no idea what's going on.
In a way, responsible for Dharma making a Malayalam debut, and I hope a lot of production houses I know are looking at Malayalam cinema. I hope all of you come to Malayalam cinema and change nothing.
This is the line.
Learn a lot of things.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, they should not change
That's the viral line that is everyone's talking about.
anything. Look, I can't wait to see all of this.
Yeah.
I love Rahul's movies, and I think all of the stuff that you're doing looks super exciting.
Thank you so much.
Please continue and don't take the breaks. No, it's okay.
I am actually. I'm right after these interviews. I'm off. Yeah, because I'm taking a break. I'm having a small break before I rejoin Varanasi.
Nice.
Because
He needs
Varanasi
that.
needs a break.
Yep.
Well, give our regards to Mr. Rajamouli.
I will, yeah.
Prithvi, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that was a fun interview. Got to know a lot about things happening, and I think he's a person. I would agree that he's someone who's pushing. And I think I remember I was in IFFK and we had an hour and a 2 hour long debate about what Prithviraj is doing, and Malayalam cinema should be about smaller films and not going big and trying to be someone else. And I was having this debate with people there, and I was like, you need someone to do that also. You cannot just make smaller films always. You have to make bigger films also. You have to diversify it. It should not be just one thing. And he's doing that from Malayalam. Doing films across the different industries. Bringing Dharma in now, making and I think a lot of people would want to make, like, I think RSVP made a film with Loduk, and now a lot of production houses would want to make films with Malayalam, and especially Rahul Sadasivan, because horror has become such a big thing. No one's making good horror in India. What happened with Obsession. Horrible. What I've heard is AI movie like Haunted 3D also made some money at the box office, and they are coming with one more now. So in that sphere, if Dharma can get a hand in for a project like this, where now that director, people actually watching his films on OTT and are very excited to check out his other work. So if his next film is coming out and they can make it a pan-India release and have it dubbed in different languages, and Prithviraj is a face people know, especially from something like Salar, like that. Today, especially today's generation, will be very accustomed to his face, and now with Varanasi also. So that also puts a big image which you can use for marketing. Of course, the director and the content is there, but this also helps marketing the film. And I think this could be the big hit, horror hit we would wanted in Indian cinema. So I think that's a cool thing. And Khalifa also, now I'm actually excited knowing it's kind of true of based on a true story and an incident and a person. And Mohanlal, I had no idea about that. So let me know if all that, everything, what's happening in my room, I have no idea. I'll figure it out. But again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.